The night was deeper than usual, the sky thick with clouds that smothered even the pale glow of the moon. Sam sat at his desk, staring at an old letter delivered in an unmarked envelope. The paper was yellowed, as though it had just been pulled from a grave sealed decades ago. The words, written in a trembling hand, read, "If you dare, come to the house without windows. You will learn the truth that has escaped you for so long." Sam was not the type to scare easily, yet a shiver ran through him as he read the line for the 5th time. Deep down, he knew this letter was meant for him, and him alone. The following day, he gathered his 3 friends. Leo, his reckless childhood companion who never backed down from adventure. Isabel, the rational one, who always sought a logical explanation. And Laura, the most sensitive of them all, as if she could hear things the others could not. Sam placed the letter on the table. "I'm going. Whoever wants to come with me can." Leo laughed mockingly as he lit a cigarette. "A house without windows? Man, this is the chance of a lifetime. If it's really abandoned, we'll make a film out of it and blow up." Isabel folded her arms, her eyes locked on the shaky handwriting. "Sam, it's obvious whoever wrote this knows you, but what does the truth even mean?" Laura remained silent, staring at the envelope with wide eyes, before whispering, barely audible, "I've heard that name before. That house isn't normal. They say whoever enters never returns." Silence lingered for a few seconds before Sam forced a cold smile and said, "No problem. We'll come back." But deep inside, he wasn't sure. They arrived at the edge of a small, isolated village that didn't appear on any map. The road was muddy, the air heavy with the promise of rain. Every house they passed was shuttered, windows sealed behind dark curtains, doors warped and creaking in the wind. Finally, an old man appeared, standing beside a crumbling well. His eyes were sunken, his voice hoarse, as he said, "You're not from here." Sam replied calmly, "We're looking for the house without windows." The old man studied them for a long moment, then smiled, revealing blackened teeth. "The house never lets go of those who enter. It opens to you, but it's not you who decides when to leave." Then he turned slowly and vanished into the alleys without another glance. Laura clutched Isabel's arm, whispering, "I don't like this. The place feels suffocating." Leo laughed loudly, waving off their fear. "Come on, he's just a crazy old man. Let's find this house and be done with it." And as the sun dipped below the horizon, the building revealed itself. A massive house, its walls of dark, decaying stone. No windows. Only a wide wooden door in the center. No light, no sound, as if the house itself swallowed the very air around it. Sam stepped closer, each footfall heavier than the last. The silence grew thicker, heavier, as if the house itself was watching. Isabel whispered, her voice trembling, "How can a house have no windows? Even the oldest homes have vents for air." But Sam pressed his hand against the cold handle and pushed. A long, piercing creak shattered the silence. Inside was darkness, deeper than anything they had ever known. And the moment they crossed the threshold, the door slammed shut behind them with a violent crash. From the walls, faint whispers began to rise, curling like smoke. "We have been waiting, and at last you have come."
Darkness swallowed them whole the moment the door slammed shut behind them. So absolute, they could no longer distinguish each other's faces, only the ragged sound of breathing and cautious footsteps. Sam fumbled for a small flashlight he had brought, but the beam was faint, barely illuminating a meter ahead. As the first sliver of light cut through the void, a long corridor appeared, stretching unnaturally far, its stone walls damp as though bleeding black water from their cracks. Leo let out a nervous laugh. "Guys, this is the best live-action horror movie ever! This house was built to scare us." Isabel snapped, her eyes locked on the dripping walls. "No, something's wrong. The corridor, it's too long. The house wasn't this big from the outside." Laura stood silently, her wide eyes following shadows that seemed to pulse against the stone, as if the walls themselves were breathing. She whispered, her voice trembling, "Someone's moving?" They froze. All of them turned toward the wall, and the light revealed a black handprint, massive, unnatural, appearing and fading slowly, as though crawling within the stone itself. Sam's voice shook. "Keep moving. Forward. Don't look back." Their footsteps quickened, every echo magnifying through the corridor. Yet each step seemed to be accompanied by another set of footsteps, following. Then came the whispers, so close as if spoken directly into their ears. Sam, Isabel, Laura, Leo. Each of them froze, dread coursing through their veins. The house knew their names. Leo snapped, his voice cracking with anger. "Who's there? Show yourselves instead of playing with our heads." His shout thundered through the passage, but moments later, it returned, echoed back from the far end of the corridor, the exact same pitch, the exact same words. Isabel gasped. "That's not an echo. Someone is repeating you." The hallway ended at a splintered wooden door. Sam reached to open it, but before his hand touched the handle, the door creaked open on its own. Beyond lay a vast room, its floor fractured, its walls carved with strange claw marks, as if hundreds of hands had dragged themselves across the surface. At the center sat a broken wooden chair, restraints dangling from its arms, empty, yet waiting. Laura stumbled back, her voice strangled. I've seen that chair before, in a dream." Sam turned to her in confusion, but before he could ask, the faint light of the flashlight flickered and died. The room collapsed into pitch black. Breathing, close, too close, surrounding their faces, pressing in as if unseen bodies stood among them, inhaling the same air. Then a laugh tore through the dark, distorted, neither man nor woman, stretched and broken, until it seemed the walls themselves shuddered with the sound. Sam tried to shout above the chaos, "Don't move!" But before his words could anchor them, Laura bolted, sprinting blindly into the dark. One heartbeat, then another. Her footsteps vanished. A single, piercing scream erupted, sharp enough to cut through bone. And then, silence.
Laura's screams still echoed in their ears, but after that, silence. The room sank into a suffocating stillness, as if the house had swallowed her in a single breath. Sam shouted into the dark, his hand reaching blindly, "Laura! Laura, come back!" But no reply came.
The flashlight flickered weakly before sparking to life again, its beam revealing nothing, no trace of Laura anywhere. Leo exploded in rage, his trembling voice breaking as he slammed his fist against the wall. Where the hell did she go? How can she just vanish in front of us? But the sound wasn't stone. It was flesh. The wall shuddered beneath his strike, vibrating like wounded skin. Leo jerked back, staring at his shaking hand. The walls, they moved, like they're alive. Isabel grabbed his wrist, forcing her voice steady. Listen to me. We have to stay together. The house doesn't want us to find her. It's pulling us apart one by one. Sam stood at the center, sweat and fear glinting in his eyes, straining to catch even the faintest clue of Laura's presence. Then, a whisper, faint, broken, carried through the air. Sam, help me. They froze. The voice was hers, but it came from the very corridor they had entered through, and it was wrong. Each syllable warped, repeating, sinking deeper into a guttural tone with every second. Sam hissed, "That's not Laura. Something's imitating her." But Leo refused to believe it. He tore away from them, charging down the narrow passage with a shout. "I'm coming, Laura!" Sam and Isabel chased after him, the corridor now tightening around them, squeezing closer, as though the house itself was closing in. The walls pressed so near they could feel them shift with each breath. Leo was ahead, the flashlight trembling in his grip. Suddenly, he stopped dead, his eyes wide with terror. Sam caught up, grabbing his arm. "What? What do you see?" The light revealed it. Laura. She was standing at the far end of the corridor, her back to them, hair tangled and falling over her face. Still, motionless. Sam's voice quivered. "Laura?" Slowly, too slowly, she turned her head. But something was terribly wrong. Half her face was gone, swallowed by shadow as if rotted away. Her eyes pools of endless black. A smile stretched across her face, impossibly wide, carved deep into her cheeks. Her voice rasped, layered with 100 whispers. "I'm here. Why did you take so long?" Isabel gasped, stumbling backward. The floor beneath her groaned, not like stone, but like a fragile shell cracking under her weight. Sam caught her hand before she slipped, his grip tight as the corridor itself exhaled with a long, shuddering creak. Leo stood frozen, staring at the figure, his tears glistening. He couldn't look away. He couldn't breathe. The thing that wore Laura's shape began to move toward them, each step dragging against the ground, heavy, reluctant, as if the earth itself rejected her presence. Sam shouted, "That's not her! Back away, now!" The flashlight beam swept over her hand, or what was supposed to be her hand. Fingers impossibly long, bent and twisted, riddled with black scratches. With each step they stretched further, claws unfurling. The distorted laughter they had heard before erupted again, louder this time, swelling until it shook the corridor, drilling into their skulls. Sam yanked Leo back, desperate, but Leo's body resisted, his eyes locked on the creature, his voice cracked, breaking under despair. "That's Laura. I have to save her." The corridor grew narrower with every step the creature wearing Laura's shape took toward them. Each breath it exhaled spilled a freezing mist that seeped into their bones, turning marrow to ice. Sam yanked Leo backward, shouting, "That's not her! Listen to me, Leo, it's not Laura!" But Leo stood rooted in place, tears streaming as his eyes locked on the thing disguised as her. Isabel quickly raised the flashlight and cast its beam across the creature's face. In an instant, the truth was laid bare. Half of Laura's face was nothing more than rotting skin, a mask peeling away. Beneath it writhed something black, liquid, alive, a mass of shifting shadow. The creature's wide, void-like eyes flared suddenly, and its voice erupted in a chorus of hundreds, overlapping. I am here, but not as you remember. The corridor trembled violently, its walls pressing inward until their spines felt the cold stone grinding against them. Sam pulled Leo with all his strength, but then the floor beneath their feet cracked open. Isabel screamed, clinging to Sam as the ground splintered. He hauled her back just in time, but the flashlight slipped from her grasp, tumbling away. Darkness surged in again, broken only by a thin glimmer of light at the far end, near the advancing creature. The slow, dragging steps echoed down the passage. The warped, broken laughter returned, louder than ever, as though thousands of throats cackled in unison. Sam planted himself in front of Leo, his voice steady despite the terror shaking him. Look at me, Leo. Focus. That's not Laura. The house is tricking you. But the creature lifted its twisted hand, stretching it toward Leo. This time, its voice shifted, softer, fragile. Laura's real voice, weeping. Leo, help me. If you love me, don't leave me. Leo froze, trembling. That's really her voice. Sam roared, No! It's a trap! And in a heartbeat, the outstretched hand transformed, fingers sharpening into blades. It lunged for Leo's face. Sam yanked him back at the last second, the black weapon slicing the air inches from his skin. The creature let out a piercing scream that shook the corridor, and the walls began to bleed. Black liquid seeped from every crack, dripping like tar, like blood. Isabel's voice cracked, terror gripping her. We need to run, now! Sam grabbed them both, dragging them forward. At the corridor's end, a door appeared, sudden, unnatural, as though the house itself had conjured it just for them. With every ounce of strength, they lunged for it. The moment Sam reached out, the door swung open on its own and swallowed them inside. They crashed onto splintered wooden flooring. Behind them, the door slammed shut with a deafening boom that rattled their chests. The room was different, vast, silent, its walls lined entirely with broken mirrors. And in each mirror, their reflections were wrong. Sam, aged and gray, his face hollow. Isabel, dead, her eyes wide open, staring. Leo, drenched in blood that was not his own. Horror clamped their throats, freezing their screams. Then, as one, the mirrors whispered, voices overlapping in dreadful unison. There is no escape. The house has swallowed you. Sam's breath came shallow, ragged. For the first time, he felt it fully. The house wasn't just a place. It was alive.